But when you look at the next shot, this is not being doctored by me in any way with a red pen. This is just a shot directly from a Washington street plan. And there you see around the Congress building the owl, Moloch, the deity going back to Babylon and this whole story I've been talking about. And he's actually sitting on top of a pyramid. A pyramid, an all-seeing owl, just like the pyramid, an all-seeing eye. Because the owl and the eye symbolize the same thing, this force which controls the world through these bloodlines. Also in the street plan of Washington, you find pentagrams. Symbols are not in themselves negative. The five-pointed star, the pentagram as we call it, is not in itself negative. Just as the swastika in its original form is not negative, it was just a symbol of the sun. Other things too, probably. What the Nazis did, however, was take the swastika and turn it round to indicate the negative. It's what they call reverse symbolism in Satanism. So what they do with the pentagram, which is why it's become a satanic symbol, is to turn it upside down, so it's pointing down. Reverse symbolism. It's the same with the dove, Semiramis. To the general population, the dove equals peace, love, and all this stuff. Reverse symbolism, the dove equals death and destruction. So here we have two pentagrams in the street plan of Washington. The top one points into the Capitol building, and the one at the bottom points into the White House. And not only do they reverse the pentagram to indicate the negative, another way of doing that is to distort the pentagram so it's not in a geometrically equal pattern. Some lines are longer than others, and that's what you see here. Now, if you take the road through the middle of that White House pentagram, you might call it, and you go out the other side, very soon, just a few minutes from the White House, in a direct line with it, you find a very strange building in Washington, and it is this one. What you're looking at here is a building that looks completely out of place among the streets of Washington, the Washington environment, and that whole area. The reason is this is a particularly special building to the Brotherhood. It's got the feel of an Egyptian temple. In the middle there you see that depiction of the rising sun across the over the horizon, which is what you saw on the Washington sun chair earlier, and many other symbols of this Brotherhood are that sun coming up over the horizon or over the mountains. And on the two sides of the steps you've got their symbolic depictions of the Sphinx, etc. So what are we looking at here in this strange building just down from the White House? Well, we're looking at the Supreme Headquarters, 33rd degree Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Because Freemasonry did not begin in the 16 and 1700s, as is claimed. That's when this strand of the Brotherhood got the name Freemasonry. What it really is a face or a mask on the one face that goes back to the ancient world. And this is where they're coming from, the ancient Egyptian Babylonian world, where these bloodlines came out of a long, long time ago. Here's another more close view of that half sun coming up, and when you see it live, as it were, when you're actually there, it is a beautiful depiction of the sun. And in the back, they've got a bust of George Washington, first Freemasonic president of the United States. This is a political building. So we're told. In fact, it's a temple to a secret society, built by the Freemasons to a specific design, Congress, the Congress building. Where did it get its name from? Capitol Hill, from a sacred place of the Roman Brotherhood going way back called Capitoline Hill. And when Madeleine Albright, high priestess of this Brotherhood, became Secretary of State, and she went across on her first overseas visit to Europe, she actually went to Rome and made an official visit, what for her would have been a pilgrimage to Capitoline Hill in Rome, and that's where we get Capitol Hill from. Now, they build these buildings in specific designs. This is where you see obelisks and domes everywhere in the major cities. It's because the dome resonates and draws in female energy, and for obvious reasons, the obelisk, the phallic, draws in male energy. And so in particular places, in particular cities, in particular locations of politics or whatever, religion, you get the dome and the obelisk. So just take a look, just for a second, at that dome on a political building in Washington. And there it is again. This time, it's St. Paul's Cathedral in the heart of the city of London, one of the epicenters of this global manipulation. And St. Paul's Cathedral was built on an ancient site of worship to the goddess Diana, and was built by Sir Christopher Wren, one of the high initiates of this secret society network, after William of Orange arrived in London to be King William III, and the whole thing epicentered in London. There is St. Paul's Cathedral. There's another view of St. Paul's Cathedral. Looks like it, but it's not. This is the Pantheon in Paris. Again, a mirror image of St. Paul's Cathedral and the Congress building, this time in the other great Brotherhood epicenter city of Paris. The obelisk, there we have the Washington Memorial, the phallic symbol of the obelisk, and this goes to again to ancient Egypt with the story of the penis of Osiris. It was apparently lost and Isis got another one, all that stuff they talk about. And since that time, this has become the symbol of the male energy, the male phallic. And I must say, just a brief story. These symbols are actually manifestations of thought. So what these are built to represent is what they generate in terms of energy. I was inside a massive obelisk near a place called Hebden Bridge in England. And as I was climbing the stairs, it was so big it had a stone staircase inside it. The energy around me I just felt this enormous male sexual energy, and I thought, what's going on? Especially when you get to my age, you know. And then I realized, why am I feeling this? Well, what are you walking up inside, you pillock, I thought. You're walking up inside a representation of the male phallic, therefore that's the energy it generates. It's very important that we're aware of this. These are not just symbols and what have you, in a secret language alone. They generate energy. And this is why you have these in specific points in the major cities, just like the domes. So here's the Washington Monument, the biggest stone obelisk in the world, right in the center of the Washington Street Plan, down from the White House. This is what's known in London as Cleopatra's Needle. Again, like the one in Paris, it was taken from Egypt. It's an original. It was in the city of Hon or Heliopolis, the city or place of the sun, and was brought over during the reign of Queen Victoria. Again, this is on former Templar land. The Temple Bar is just across from here, where the center of the secret society network of the legal profession is based, in the former Templar land of Temple Bar. Here's, again, this 3,200-year-old obelisk in the city of Paris, from Luxor in Egypt. No accident. There's another one in Central Park, New York, I understand, as well. Here in the wholly owned Brotherhood city of Las Vegas, where they had a blank sheet of paper to start with, a blank sheet of land, they have just filled it with the symbolism of thousands of years. And here you have the big black pyramid, the casino. Again, that will be resonating energy in a certain way in that place of Las Vegas. There you have the big Sphinx, and there you have the obelisk as well. Now, one of the other things they do is that they symbolize the sun and the moon, in the sense that they put the building representing the sun, like the Arc de Triomphe, and they put next to the building what they call a reflecting pool. And the reflecting pool, this is the Lincoln Memorial in Washington here, just down from that obelisk, the reflecting pool reflects the building. In other words, the building is the sun, the water is the moon. And here's that symbolism again in Dealey Plaza this time, with the obelisk that the Freemasons put up there after Kennedy was killed. And again, it is the male phallic, the obelisk, reflected in the reflecting pool, which symbolizes the moon. They understand how these moon and sun energies can be used and manipulated, and that's one of the great areas of knowledge that has been kept from the rest of the population in the secret society network. And this goes back a very long time. Interestingly, it is this Brotherhood network that created Christianity and created Islam and all the other religions, and the biggest secret documents this in great detail. They created the religions as a prison religion and to imprison the mind of the populace, but they also built the cathedrals and the main churches, and they built them on the vortex points, on their sacred points, in a certain way. Again, I mentioned St. Paul's Cathedral. was built on a former site of goddess Diana worship. The goddess Diana was one of the great goddesses of the ancient world. This is Notre Dame, Our Lady Cathedral in Paris, one of the most famous cathedrals in the world, Notre Dame. Because people thought Notre Dame, Our Lady, Mother of Jesus, it was taken as a Christian name. In fact, Our Lady is Isis, Semiramis, Diana, and these other names for the deities that the Brotherhood have worshipped over the period of thousands of years we're talking about.